Good afternoon everyone, it's Andy T here again, bringing you the second in a series of two short videos on motors, and this time we're talking about the benefits of geared motors. For the purpose of this video I'm going to be using a kit from Gunns Sanyo. It's the 1/48 Autogyro. So here are the parts in the box, all looking really good. No real flash to talk of, but what we have to do is we have to modify the inside of the model, and because it comes in two halves, I have the ability to mount an extra motor support in here, and the shaft will go up here, but I can't get it exactly at 90 degrees because otherwise I'm not going to have enough room for the motor that sits down here for the pusher propeller. So to run the rotor I'm going to be using a right angle geared motor, and then obviously that's going to connect with a shaft and a sleeve, and as you can see this is a very small little motor which turns quite fast. So the speed of this turning is actually reduced down by these gears to a much more kind of sensible speed, but in doing so it actually kind of increases the power. As you can see, this motor is not quite in line with the shaft, so in order to take up that difference I've put on a piece of fuel tube here. This acts as a universal joint and takes out any difference between the way the motor's being placed and the way the shaft is being placed up to the rotor head. The tube passes through, or the shaft passes through a tube glued to the body of the model, and then obviously that takes up and allows it to align and go into the fuel tube down the bottom. The other motor is also geared, and if you remember from the previous video, the pusher prop on the back of the other Autogyro was just spinning so fast you couldn't see it. So this motor is again very small. It's about twice as long as the other motor that I used before, and that's because this one has a gearbox. So this is the motor at the back and this is the gearbox in front. So that motor is the same length as the previous one, but this one's got this gearbox in it. And that gearbox, just to let you have some idea, here are the gears inside that gearbox. And you can see it's absolutely tiny, because this is the tip of a felt tip pen, and you can see just how minute it is. So the final drive, this little piece here, goes up and comes up through this shaft here, which is what I connect the propeller onto, which you can see here's the boss of the propeller. So let's look at the wiring. So the wiring doesn't have to be very pretty because it's all hidden by the clamshells of the model, but obviously it's still got to get down through to the base, and the only way in this particular instance is to actually drill a hole through the wheel for the wires to pass into the base. Now also passing down there is the LED, and so you can see it's it needs this extra piece of plastic here just to help to control the wires. Here we have the Autogyro fitted onto the base. I've made the base look like a helicopter landing pad. There are a number of things that still has to be done to the base. There's a switch, the power supply switch, got to be fitted in here. There's a power supply got to be fitted actually inside, and also there's got to be a controller. want the motors to come on and off at intervals. We don't want to leave them on all the time. We want the LED on the front to flash in a particular way, which we can also program into the microcontroller. And to do that, the microcontroller uses transistors, and these transistors, there's 3 of them, one for each motor and one for the LED. So the output of this of the controller switches this pin through a 1K resistor, which turns the output of the transistor on, and then a big rush of current goes through to the actual motor itself. There's a diode on the back of the motor, or between the positive and the negative of the motor, and that's to stop any back EMF. You'll notice there's one diode there and there's another diode there, and there are the 3 1K ohm resistors. The final bit of the video, which is of course to see this thing rocking and rolling and doing its bit on the table, so to speak. And so here we are. I'll turn the switch on, and immediately you can start to see the propeller on the back is much slower. It's far more sort of kind of visible to the naked eye, which the one in the previous video was, it was just completely obscured, it blurred into oblivion. And obviously you can see the weight of the rotor on the top. This is, you know, at least twice, if not 3 times, the weight of the rotor on the previous model. So it's good to have a bit of grunt to actually turn that bit of plastic round. Okay, I hope this video has been helpful to you in your model making. I look forward to speaking with you again soon. Bye for now.